Thank you so much for joining me today. As I just mentioned, my name is Alyssa Tambone. I'm the Senior Manager of Customer Acquisition Strategy for the Multifamily Energy Savings Program here in California. Today's agenda for the Contractor Brown Bag session will include a brief program overview, project scope and development, how to participate in the Multifamily Energy Savings Program, as well as sharing some single point of contact service options for incentive layering as you work with your customers to maximize incentive savings and energy savings as you move forward and build your business. After that, we'll have a chance for question and answer. But to kick us off, the program overview. Multifamily Energy Savings Program provides no-cost and reduced-cost energy efficiency upgrades, as well as free project assistance to qualifying affordable multifamily properties and residents within the state of California. This program, unlike our previous iteration of the program, ESACAM, this program has grown to provide both common area measures as well as in-unit upgrades for multifamily qualifying properties within and throughout the state of California. The program will be implemented and offered through December 2026, and we know for certain that we'll be accepting applications now through the end of 2025. So what is the Multifamily Energy Savings Program in terms of the impact it can have for your business as contractors? Really, the focus is on unlocking new customer opportunities. The program can be beneficial in many ways, from financial incentives to free support and energy efficiency education, as well as opening your opportunities as a contractor in the affordable housing market with it throughout California. It can also help position you as a leader in energy efficiency consulting and services as a contractor, helping you build your reputation in energy efficiency as Title 24 continues to take root and expand throughout the state, which is the governing code on energy efficiency in the affordable housing sector. As well as help your clients achieve their decarbonization goals or ESG goals, and help you grow your business with comprehensive support that really aligns with sustainability plans, not only at the local, but also at the state and even the national levels in terms of building sector decarbonization goals. For your clients to qualify an eligible property, there are some terms and parameters for this program, the Multifamily Energy Savings Program. First, it needs to be an existing property. This program really does not focus on or service new construction, but we do have and work with partners in other program areas who do, which I'll share about a bit later in the presentation. The equipment that is being replaced as part of this program for retrofit must be at least 5 years old, and the electric or natural gas provider must be one of the IOUs or independently owned utilities throughout the state of California. Community choice aggregator customers are also eligible for this program. The property must have at least 5 units. And typically we see those units sharing an adjacent wall, floor, or ceiling with another unit. For income eligibility for whole building measures, meaning common area as well as in unit, there are additional income requirements for deed restricted properties, and those requirements differ slightly from non-deed restricted properties. So deed-restricted properties are those with a regulatory agreement in place, financed through low-income housing tax credits, tax-exempt mortgage revenue, bonds, or local, state, or federal loans or grants. TCAC, HUD agreements, USDA. Those are just some of the different regulatory issuing agreements that are acceptable for this program. In addition to that, to qualify for common area measures through the program as a deed restricted property with a regulatory agreement in place, 65% of households have to have income levels at or below 250% of federal poverty guidelines. When that exists, that income qualification, if your property meets, or a property that you're working with meets that income level, then it would qualify for common area measures in addition to in-unit measures at up to 100% of common area project costs covered and all feasible in-unit upgrades covered at 100%. If the property did not qualify with 65% of households at that 250% of federal poverty guidelines, then we would look at just exclusively in-unit upgrades and measures for those qualifying units that meet those income levels, which I'll share with you shortly. For non-deed restricted properties, the eligibility requirements for income are slightly different, as are the incentive for common area measures. Non-deed restricted properties for this program are typically NOAA, or naturally occurring affordable housing. They may have housing vouchers, Section 8, things of that nature. To qualify as a non-deed restricted property without a regulatory agreement in place, 80% of residents have incomes at or below 250% of poverty guidelines, in comparison to 65% for those with deed restricted status and a regulatory agreement. For non-deed restricted properties, or NOAA, 50% copay for common area project costs are covered. 50% are covered, and then there's a 50% copay. Still, all feasible in-unit upgrades that meet the income requirements are covered at 100% of costs. Here are the income thresholds based on household size that are used for this program effective June 1, 2024. Here you can see what the qualifying income eligibility is based on household, and this would help determine whether or not a whole building or a unit is covered as part of this program. The program from start to finish has 6 basic stages. The qualification stage is where the program outreach and enrollment leads work with you and your end client to determine eligibility for enrollment into the program. Once eligibility is determined, if enrolled, the property would move forward with an energy assessment scheduled by the program with an expert from the program that is an energy advisor. They would perform the assessment, complete the report. The report would then be reviewed by you and your end client, determining what incentives would work best for your needs. From there, the project approval is issued, is scheduled and issued, and construction becomes front and center as you work with your end client on common area measures, and there's a bit of a nuance for in-unit that I'll cover momentarily. Once construction is complete, there's a verification process, including providing completed documents, invoices, permits, and from there, within 2 to 3 months, payment for common area measures is issued by the independently owned utility, either SDG&E or PG&E in the north, SDG&E in the south region of California. Project scope development, eligible upgrades, building envelope and weatherization, domestic hot water, space heating and cooling, lighting, appliances and plug loads, and electrification. Those are the key areas of measures offered through this program. For a complete list, you can go to esamultifamily.com/eligibility. Specifically for property level upgrades, those common areas, including hallways, offices, lobbies, stairwells, elevators, laundry rooms, community rooms, dining areas, parking spaces, outdoor areas, pool and central systems. Those are the common area upgrades or areas of common area that are eligible for the program. Really, to develop the scope of the project for common area upgrades, we listen to the owner's needs and priorities. The energy advisor assigned to the property completes that on-site energy assessment and benchmarks the property if it's not already benchmarked, and then recommends eligible upgrades and incentives, assisting with program layering where possible to maximize incentive opportunity for you and your end client. With regard to in-unit upgrades, these are 100% free, both equipment and installation services, education costs are 100% covered. There's no upfront copay or any sort of financing needed, no money exchanged. These are done by a specific set of contractors who work with the program and have gone through a rigorous 1 to 2 year training process. In-unit upgrade benefits include free equipment, services, and education, lower costs for tenants in terms of monthly utility bills, improved quality of life, equipment and service warranties, reduced maintenance costs, and free education on how to make the most of their energy efficiency upgrades. In terms of project coordination, the property staff and you, the contractor for common area, would coordinate with the program and make sure that education is provided in a manner that makes sense for your tenants. Resident notifications are coordinated with the on-site property management team, as well as any headquarter level points of contact upon request, and you as the contractor. In-unit upgrade assessment and measurement selections are also part of that project coordination for in-unit upgrades. For property level contractors, you who are joining our call today, our brown bag session, you would be the common area property level contractors on the project. As long as you're licensed in the state of California with the state license board, you are eligible to be a property level contractor with this program. You must, all of our contractors that we work with must use property assessment to develop the scope of work. They must adhere to program handbook materials and content, as well as the ESA installation standards manual requirement. While the program can assist in identifying contractors if needed, we are actively looking to expand our network and contractors as a contractor agnostic program, and hope that this program will help you further meet the needs of your clients as one of your offerings. Of course, we're here every step of the way to help you through that process if deciding to move forward with the program, should you have clients that you know that could benefit. We also encourage collaboration with the property contractor, you and your team, if you decide to move forward with the program, with in-unit contractors. And those in-unit contractors are assigned regionally by the program. Like I mentioned before, they go through a rigorous 1 to 2 year training process and have to meet certain requirements and specifications before being onboarded as an in-unit contractor with ESA. They provide the in-unit installation and free energy education. All ESA subcontractors must comply with IOU or utility established qualifications, such as complying with all program safety standards, being registered in ISN and maintaining an A or B rating, completing utility required program enroll training, and then being registered as a home improvement sales certified specialist. So real results, real savings. Here are just four of the examples of impact that our program has realized for end clients like yours. From annual cost savings of $12,000, sometimes more, to initial upfront renovation and retrofits of $60,000. I've seen up to $150,000 of incentives. So there is substantial savings opportunity through this program. Any questions so far? All right, I'm not seeing anything in chat, so I will move along. How to participate. So to start contracting with our program, you can reach out to me after the presentation today, or you can go to esamultifamily.com, and up at the top, you'll see a contractor page. You can submit the interest form on that contractor page, or you can reach out to us directly through our general email inbox at connect@esamultifamily.com. Again, as a quick reminder for property level enrollment, there are two different processes, one for deed restricted properties with regulatory agreements in place, and another for non-deed restricted properties. For deed restricted properties and all that have less than 10 years left on their regulatory agreement, and for all non-deed restricted properties, there is a nuance of a tenant protection agreement that needs to be signed in those two circumstances for deed and non-deed restricted. It's a condition of the program that just basically stipulates the intent of the property to remain affordable for tenants for at least 10 years after retrofits are installed with the program. So after submitting your interest form, once you go to the contractor page on esamultifamily.com, if you have already identified a property of interest, we would collect the basic details of that property. We would also ask that you work with your end client to obtain an electric and gas bill for the property for common area from the last 6 months. We would also ask that you obtain a regulatory agreement for those deed restricted properties. If non-deed restricted, there wouldn't be a regulatory agreement. And then we ask for the confirmation of household income data. For deed restricted properties, all they need to do is vouch on the application that they do in fact meet income standards. They do not need to submit that income documentation. But for non-deed restricted, they do have to submit income documentation. If your end client would prefer support and ensuring they qualify, our team of experts in the outreach area are more than happy to help determine income eligibility. The contractual obligations for the program are not extensive. At most, your end clients would be signing 5 documents. Our team works with the basic details to populate as much of these documents in advance as possible to make the experience as easy and seamless as possible for you and your clients. In tandem with the program, we also work extensively with our partners at Single Point of Contact Services, or SPOC. SPOC services extend beyond multifamily energy savings to support program layering opportunities, and identify incentives that are best fit for properties. So if multifamily energy savings were a spoke on a wheel, SPOC services would be the hub. They work with dozens, if not more, programs at the local, state, and national level, ensuring opportunities are provided as best fit for your property or your client's property. This includes programs in energy efficiency upgrades like multifamily energy savings, but also LIWIP, HERA, and many others. Solar, inclusive of the SOMA program, which is a sister program to multifamily energy savings. Financing opportunities for upgrades, EV charging, demand response solutions, and water and air quality management resources. For more information, please contact please go ahead and check out esamultifamily.com. There you can find fact sheets, a brochure, collateral materials that you can share with your clients to gauge interest in the program. And from there, reach out to us via the website, and one of our outreach specialists will be in touch to walk you through step by step the onboarding process and enrollment screening with your end client in mind. That's all that I have for today. I want to thank you so much. Before turning it over for questions, here's my email address and contact information. If you have any questions, you please feel free, after the presentation and our discussion today, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you so much. And we will prepare for a discussion now.